Good morning, guys. Good morning, everybody. So sorry, I'm starting 4 minutes late, but it's a Monday. You have to fix some things. So I'm just gonna wait for people to come online before we start. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Talk, no, they bring money, focus, hustle. Good morning, everybody. Happy new week. I hope you guys are having a lovely week. So 1 minute, please. It's hot here. Let me see. Good morning, everybody. I'm just waiting for people to get online before we start. So today, in case you don't know what we're talking about being single after 30. So if you're below 30, this might not be the live video for you, unless you want to learn some holy truth about life. If you're approaching 30, there's something to learn. But this video is majorly talking about the issues of being single after a certain age in Nigeria and all that. So first of all, I think I'm going to use myself as an example, because I know one of the most commonest questions I get all the time is, why are you not married at this age? What is happening? In fact, every other day I get like an advice or the other around my marital status. Okay, the recent one, and it's from the same people all the time, is Imana. Sorry if you're not able, you might not understand this, but I want to give you like a cliche, like I will explain it later. Obukwariwu na igafuchi nini na acho. And I'll be like, I'm not looking for everything. I already understand we are all humans. I'm not everything, so I'm not looking for everything either. Then I'll be like, sometimes I need go look okay. Oti nwele ego. Igo look ichota okay. Obu na aka siri eke. Inyele aka. Nye ego. Obido something no bagi. I'm like, huh? Oh, give me money, start my own that I will now use. What am I doing with the person? I should bribe him to come and marry me. Marry me for what? Did I tell him I was looking forward to marry me by bribery and corruption? So what it basically means in Igbo is that they basically tell me I can pay a man to marry me. Is that bad? I should offer a man. This wig is distracting my focus. I should stay like that. I wanted something that will not block my face or give me a headache. If it's too much, I'll remove itself. So practically what they are saying in Igbo is that I should pay someone. Since I'm the one with the money, I should pay somebody, not really pay him per se, but let's say you pick a young guy from the street who does not have anything to his name, then you set him up financially, business-wise, in exchange for his surname, in exchange for his name. You get? That is basically what they are asking me to do. And God knows I will never do this. So welcome everybody. If you're just joining us, remember today on American we're talking about being single after 30, the frustration, the hard truth, and everything. So I'm going to start up this talk with using my story as an example, where I am and where I'm coming from, what my journey has been like, and where I am now, and what, to the best of my planning knowledge, to the best of my knowledge, is what my future would look like if I'm to decide, because you can never decide this thing. You might say one thing tomorrow, God has another plan for you, manifest in another way. So being single in Nigeria is like one of the hardest thing ever. Everybody thinks they know your problem. Everybody thinks they understand why you're single. Everybody has like their immediate cause and effect of your singleship. So for me, especially those who know me one-on-one, for me, they think, first of all, I'm looking for, according to what one of my friends told me, I'm looking for a makeover. That means I'm looking for a rich man. Then some will say, oh, one told me that now that none the ogbanjene, so meaning I am possessed. So the people that possess me does not want me to get married. So they possess me and they are not giving me money. All their possession of me is making sure I do not marry. 3, some will say is because I'm living in Abuja and Abuja me la 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 la. But people get married there every Saturday. 4, they will say is because, which other one did they used to say? Okay, because I have money, and because I have money, I will not be humble again. I will not do this, I will not do that. Men don't like women that have money. Is it not witchcraft that I will suffer like this at my age, and you don't want me to have money so that I'll be your little wife? You know, fear happen. 5, it is village people that caused it. It's somebody in my village that's responsible for it. Oh. I am concerned there for the village. Whatever they are doing in the village, my spirit is agreeing with them. So they own me now. I came from the village. So if the village people are succeeding, is it not their loss? The wine and everything they would have drunk, is it not their loss? So these are all the conclusions that people draw when you are single. And trust me, in Nigeria, when we were off social media, when there was no social media, anyway, I was young then, I didn't know. But I think for a lot of people, the height of the pressure they get about being single after a certain time comes mostly from social media. I'm not joking. My parents have never sat me down, not even once, to ask me, when are you getting married? What is happening now? Bring somebody home back for us. They have never, ever in their life done that. My uncles think I'm still too young. They don't even care whether I am married or not married. As long as I'm happy, they don't want me suffering. They are cool. So I have never enjoyed any kind of pressure from my family. The most pressure I face about getting married comes from social media. So I'm just going to use my story as an example. How did I come? Why am I here? And where am I going? First of all, it's going to be very brief because we'll be done here by 1 o'clock, so I can get to my office. So first of all, I didn't, like every other young girl growing up, I had an idea of what my life would turn out to be. I always thought that I'll finish university, go for my master's since I was intelligent. I don't know that I say a brain or not, but I know book-wise, I'm a very intelligent person. Like you say something once, it sticks to my brain. I don't need to open a book to pass an exam. Whatever had been said once sticks to my head. So I know I'm an intelligent person, so I already felt like I would have a career in the education system. Probably I always just wanted to be a lecturer, right? So I always had that feel that my calling has always been to teach people, to nurture people. So what I'm still doing now is still what I thought I would do, but in a different way and in a different platform altogether. So I always thought that my life would be very simple. I have been so close to getting married a lot before I got to 25. My mother didn't like that. She wanted me to get my degree at least before getting married. So I always thought that by 25, I would have finished my service year, done my 1-year master's, and be ready to get married. That was when I knew I would be ready to get married. Unfortunately for me, or rather fortunately, but the idea is that most young women who are not dealing with any kind of post-childhood trauma, who are not dealing with any kind of abuse, who are not dealing with any kind of trauma, and grew up in a family unit that has a mother, a father, and children who cared about each other, also dreamt of having their own families. I don't know about any other person. For me, it has always been like that. I saw the relationship between my parents. They have an extremely good relationship up to now. So my fear didn't come from witnessing something my father had done to my mother or my mother had done to my father. Nothing of such had ever happened. I've never seen them fight. They fight with their mouth, but I've never seen them like go physical on each other. Never. It has never, ever, ever happened. So I'm not dealing with any kind of traumatic experiences watching my own parents. There are people who are dealing with traumatic experiences watching their own parents growing up. So that had affected them and their outlook to marital relationship and relationship as a whole. I'm not in that category. I always thought when I was growing up that I would get married to whoever I dated first, settle into family home, masters, PhD, raise my family, go to work 8 to 2 o'clock. I always knew I would definitely work because I come from a family where women work. It's compulsory that women work in my family. So I always thought, okay, I go to school in the morning, I drop my kids at in the school, pick them by 2 o'clock. By then I'm done with my lectures because I thought I'll be a lecturer in either Unizik, Uni Abuja, or wherever we settle down. That has always been what is in my head. I wanted a family, like the whole family unit, husband, wife, and all that. I wanted an extremely quiet life. There was nothing like social media, so I didn't have this tall dream I'll be on social media, but something told me I would be in the political system someday in life. So my thought was like, okay, maybe I'm a lecturer one day, they make me a commissioner. That was the height of my dream. Or maybe my husband becomes governor and all that, just your regular young girl fantasy. It was never any deviance from this. I didn't have any trauma I was dealing with. Now, for some funny reason, I entered into my first relationship and it was traumatic to say the least. From the psychological abuse, as far as I'm concerned, what happened to me in that relationship was psychological abuse. I turned into a self-made victim. This person didn't make me a victim, right? So it was not his fault. I made myself a victim by staying in a situation I should have left. But I stayed there because I was trying to act like a good wife material. I was trying to be a wife material. So by the time I knew what was happening, my life had gone by in 9 good years. So I was in this relationship when I was 18 and I didn't leave until I was 26. So you look at it, 9 years out of my life had gone away fanning this relationship because I always thought this person would be my husband, right? At some point, we are going to settle down into marital life, get married, have children, and everybody is working on their career. We're trying to do something with our life. That went by fast. In the middle of that relationship, I was learning a lot of lessons about life and how men behave and all that. Not prejudice to any man, but I learned a little bit about how men think, how men behave, and that should be one of the lessons you pick up from every relationship. You learn something new. So I learned something new, right? I learned that, I kept it. I went into the second relationship. I put in another 3.5, almost 4 years into the relationship. 26 plus 3.5, that was 29. All of a sudden, in dating 2 men over the period of 9 and 3, that's 12 years of my life, I had put in, is it 12 years or 11 years of my life, 18 to 19, 11 years of my life, I have put in 11 years of my life dating 2 men that I always thought would end up being my husband. So it wasn't like I deliberately just refused to get married. I just thought, okay, other men were coming, but this was where my heart was. These are people I've gotten to know. Because I have one weakness. I do not know how to have the kind of relationship I see women have, and people say anybody that is serious, I'll get married to the person. I am not capable of it. Even up till now, if I wanted to get married next week Saturday to just anybody for the sake of marrying anybody, I would definitely maybe find someone to marry me out of everybody asking me to marry them. But I'm somebody that I lose interest easily, number one. I can be talking to you like you're everything on earth. I'll give you full maximum 24 hours attention. I'll be giving you attention. Tomorrow I wake up, I'm not in the mood to talk to you again. I have heard something in the course of talking to you that I feel like it doesn't fit into my lifestyle. I don't want to deal with this thing. I lose interest and I move on. So imagine I get married because everybody is saying you cannot date a man more than 3 months. Once we date 3 months, you do not tell me where we are going. If you do not tell me where you are facing, I'll leave the relationship. If I start doing it like that, I'll probably, my body count will be over 72. It doesn't make sense to me. It has never made sense to me. But marriage is something in Nigeria that people always see it as a do or die affair. If you either do it or you die doing it, it must be one of these. You must do it. Oh, there is no other option to it. You must do it. Or if you do it and it's not going well, die inside there. I didn't like that mentality at any point. So I had like a fixated ideology. I had a fixated ideology. Sorry guys, I need to pause this. People will not call you. It's when you start live video they will call. So I had like a fixated ideology about what I want my potential partners to always look like, to behave like, to speak like, and to act like. I have not deviated from this all this while. So all of a sudden, I'm 29 years. I have just dated only 2 men. It had just been those 2 men, and both relationships broke up at the point where we marry or we don't marry. So that was it for me, and I was 29. So judging me from the angle or the perception of somebody outside, the person will say, oh, this girl, she played away with her young life when she was in her 20s. She was just dating men there and there. But you would not know that I have dated just 2 men throughout my teen years and my 20s. In fact, the whole of my 20s, the whole of my teen, like this 2 years, from 18 to 29, I was dating just 2 men. But someone outside will see you and judge you and say, oh, she played away. All these women, it is about character. People will say whatever they choose to say, however they choose to see it, right? Now, after 29, I still wanted to be married. In fact, 29 was the most horrible time of my marriage craving, of my family craving. It was like I don't want to use the word desperate, because even in my desperation, I still turned down people I felt would not be a match in my life. But I felt this urgency. I wanted to settle down. I wanted to be married. I wanted to prove that this was, like, at 29, I already had, like, lots and lots of money. Money wasn't a problem anymore. I have done some of the things a young girl would do. So the only thing left for me at that point was to start a family. I wanted to have my own kids, be married, start life, put heads together with a man and build an empire. That was the point where I was at 29. Then there was this fever of turning 30. I don't think it hits only me. I think it hits a lot of women. If we are going to be extremely honest with ourselves, it hits a lot of women. You would hear women saying, oh, I need to get married before I'm 30. I must get married before I'm 30. That, I don't want to use the word desperate, but that urgency we create around 29 turning 30 had put a lot of people in a bad place. So I also had that urgency. I was scared. I was about to be married and it didn't work. Now I'm 29. Well, they broke up with me like a day before my 29th birthday. So I was 29. So I was like, okay, I have just 1 year before I turn 30. Let me see if I can date somebody within 1 year and we'll get married maybe on my 30th birthday, because my 30th birthday I think fell in on a Saturday. So I was like, oh, we'll get married on my 30th birthday. It's all beautiful. I get pregnant immediately, 31. I have my first child, 32, because anytime I say these things, that any day I decide to give birth, I'll be doing back-to-back birthing. I don't care what anybody say. This year I'll give birth. Next year I'll give birth. Another year I'll give birth. I'll dedicate 5 good years to just popping out babies. That is what I decided to do. So I was like, okay, if I start at 30, I do 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 35. I'm done. I have my 5 children. Yeah, everything is going well. My life is still on course. I can do it. That is what I thought. One thing I did not ever plan for is the hand of God. The thing called destiny and the thing called fate. I have never, to the best of my knowledge, lived a reckless life or did something in my past that somebody will say that is why I'm being punished. All my relationships, the reason why you can still see those that know me, that I'm almost best friend. I'm the best friend that my exes have. We are like that. I'm their best friend. I'm the one they will call on and tell things they cannot tell their family and their spouses. It's me they will call and say, what do I do? In case anything happens, You get? The reason why I'm that woman to them is because I believe I'm a good woman to them. I didn't hurt them. I didn't say nasty things to them. There was basically a relationship with minimal fights. I don't do fights. I don't know how to do fights. I can, if you say, okay, type insult for me, I can type one book of insults for you, but verbal abuse is something I do not stand. So I wasn't a bad person to them. It's just that God did not want me to be with those people. And he showed me clearly that he didn't want me to end up with those people. So it wasn't anything I did. So it hurts me sometimes when I come on social media and go to certain groups and I hear people saying, the reason why this person is not married is because of her bad character. Are you trying to tell me that everybody who got married has good character? It's not true. It is one of the false narrative. I have seen really shitty wives with terrible characters that I keep wondering, the person that married them, did they even ask questions? Did they even check? So life is not the black and white we always think it is. So before you know what's happening, I entered another relationship as quickly as the speed of light, so that I do not turn 30 alone and I get married. And luckily for me, all the relationship I get into, the men like me. Like me. So they like me and like me very well, to the extent that from day one we're already talking marriage. In fact, from day one we have named our children, we have named we already know the next step and what's going. But at the end of the day, now God still is in hand, they scatter them. So I got into the third relationship. All my hopes were like, this is what I want, oh, this is going so well, this is so beautiful, and this will end well for me. At least with this person, I married before 30. It's not such a bad deal. I did well. It's better than where I was coming from, and this one will work. This one will understand me. This one will give me this one will give me that. My dear, few months to 30, Oga don't give another girl belle. Is it my fault? Was it anything I did that made him impregnate another woman? It wasn't what I did. It was his choice. It was on him. But that same act changed the narrative of our relationship. I'm not some people that you do one kind of thing, they will not stay there and be clapping hand for you. I looked at it. I didn't leave the relationship, mind you. I stayed here, but I already knew that this was not the man for me. So I knew that what I was looking for was not in this person. Then came the mighty 30. The day to my 30th birthday, I had so many things to deal with. I was afraid, will I wake up in the morning or will they say, oh, she died on her 30th birthday? The list of my border. Okay, and I was like, hi, this one I'm entering 30, I'm single like this. So, hey, what will people say? Hey, my mother, I'm her first daughter. Is it not somehow if they say her first daughter is not married? Hey, my grandmother, she'll say, I'm the cause. So all the men that have been coming, I've been rejecting since. And she said it like that, sure. That one concerned her. She said, I've been rejecting men since. So she not say it's my fault. What do I do? All that was happening. Then I turned 30. I was like, so now the 30 be this self. I don't pass the 30 now. We have entered. 30 has happened. I now started living my life. I think that was the first and the last time I had that urgency about settling down. I was still in a relationship with someone who had relationships with other women. I wasn't in a hurry to replace him. I was just living my life. But that was also the moment it dawned on me that at some point my life may not go the way they write it, like, because sometimes life looks like something that has been written in a book. You see, at 2 you go to school, at 6 you go to primary 1, at 9 you leave primary school, at 10 you are in primary JS1, at 16 you are in SS3, at 18 you are in university, at 25 you are done with your service, at this you are supposed to be this. So that was when I now realized the whole truth, that life may not be. One thing I have always had in constant was that I did not want to settle for nonsense, because I know I have attention span problem. I'm just telling you, my weakest point is that I have attention span problem. I can like you this morning, in the evening I will not like you again. So whether it is that Obanje that is doing me, whether it is the village people that is causing it, whether it is just my restlessness, how God created me, or whether it is my brain protecting me from danger, I do not know. Whether it's God's way of protecting me, I do not know. But one thing I know is that my instinct always leads me right. Now I'm 30, my relationship is not serious, other men are coming, I'm looking at them critically. Another thing that worked well for me was the fact that I had my own money, so I did not need a man to feed. I did not need a man to pay my house rent. I did not need a man to buy myself a car. I do not need a man for absolutely nothing. The only thing I needed a man for at that point in my life after I turned 30 was for companionship, communication, emotional well-being. That's emotional balance. That maybe there's somebody, I go out in the morning, I have a very rough day, there's somebody I can call on the phone and say, see what happened, see how my day went, see what was going on, and the person will say, oh nne ozugo chelo ngwando. I had someone to be talking to, so I do not run mad. So when the Bible says 2 heads are better than one, you need a companion, it did not necessarily say you need a husband. It said you needed a companion. It said he needed a companion, and that companion should be male or female. That's the whole thing. It never specifically said husband and wife. 2 become 1 means we are sleeping together. We are become 1. Is there any other thing you want? Is there any way they say go and stand in front of the priest and legalize the companionship? It was not there. It just was that now started manifesting this rule. So I needed that emotional balance from a man. So at so many times, I'll try to talk to somebody. Men will come with all kinds of story. Oh, if I marry you, I'll do this for you. But something always happens. In all the things they say they'll do for you, you're going to find the loopholes in their promise. And that loophole doesn't mean that these people are bad men. I think I've been lucky enough. God always sends good men to me. This doesn't mean that they are bad people, but those loopholes are what makes them not good enough for you. And I'm going to give you an example. You look at a woman like me at the height of my career and with all the exposure I enjoy, then you tell me that if you get married to me, I need to stop using social media. Kolowek, where I eat from, I should stop using social media. It's only a desperate woman that will now go and marry a man and say a man that said you cannot use social media, knowing fully well that I am eating from social media and doing small things from social media, but because I'm desperate to get married, I will go and marry this person, and we'll start fighting about social media. Then you hear that Amanda killed her husband or her husband killed her, you now say, domestic violence is in the house. But the truth is that these are things I should have known before I went in. And if I had known this and I avoided it, it would not have ended up in they killed. But things like this, we do not think about it. The desperation to be labeled Mrs., the desperation to be somebody's wife makes us unable to think about things. What will people say? What will people say had killed a lot of people? I was not willing to be one of their victims. And number 2 is that I do not even care what people say. You will only talk. Even if I cry in the night, maybe according to what some people say, that women who are single, they go to bed, they cry. Even if I cry in the night, when I wake up, I wipe my tears. You will never see me on the street walking in the, I did not get married. Oh, God. You would never see that. So it's okay to cry about this at night. Don't get me wrong. Unless you're dealing with, there are majorly 4 things. I think I'm done with my story. Okay, my story is not complete. Then I started this 3rd relationship. I was still looking towards other options. None of them was working. None of them looked like my forever. I would pray about them. God will even tell me, no. None of them looked like. Remember, I said I was the one praying. I did not go to any prophetess or prophet to pray for me. I did not. I have never gone to carry any man's name and say, pray for me about this man. Let me know. I don't used to do. Even if you like, if some men will come and say God directed them to me, that God told them, I'll tell them to go and tell that God to come and tell me himself. God cannot be telling only you and did not tell me. And God knows that I have a spec. And God knows that there are certain things I want from a partner. You do not have any of that thing. God will now come and be telling, tell the God to come and tell me too. If not, I'm not listening. So I did not go to anybody to consult anybody about who I will be spending the rest of my life with. I was the one who was deciding. I knew I wanted to have a family, but I was not desperate. So this kept on happening, 32, 31, turned to 32. Because time waits for nobody, whether you like it or not. So while you are dilly-dallying, while life is moving in other directions for you, time is also counting, age is climbing and all that. 31 turned to 32. 32 turned to 33. I was still single. 33 turned to... Okay, 33. I think at 33, I met my current partner. Good guy, stable guy, head on his head, everything. He was everything I would normally want. But he also had his own koi that made it impossible for me to say, okay, this is it. No matter the direction we end up in, one thing I can tell you he's providing for me now is that emotional well-being. I am not single in the sense that I have somebody at the end of the day I can call and say, oh, see what happened. I say, oh, sorry. Oh, the person say, oh, go this way. Oh, go that way. Oh, no, don't do this. All this. I have that emotional balance, whether it's legalized or not. I have that emotional balance. And sometimes I have come to realize that at the end of the day, that might be all that matters. Whether it will last, whether this person will be my emotional balance until I'm 40, until I'm 45, or maybe anything, I do not know. But at the main time, this person is providing emotional balance. Now, moving on into the main topic, I have given you my own story. Moving on into the main topic, which is being single at 30, I can tell you for sure that regardless of everything you have believed, regardless of however you see it, there are 4 major reasons why a man or a woman, and I'm talking generally, I have spoken for myself as Amanda, but I'm speaking generally now. There are 4 major reasons or 5 major reasons why anybody will be single after 30. Number 1, faith. And that is like the biggest factor in all this. Something called destiny. Something called fate. The biggest mistake we all make is thinking that marriage will happen for everybody within a certain age period. Like, oh, you must be married from 18 to 30. Or 18 to 35. I think the new cap is 35. 18 to 35. After that, you have become like what I saw somebody saying in Instagram yesterday, because I did a lot of research before I started talking about this. The person said if you're 18 to 25, you are hot sales. Between 18 to 28, you are hot sales. Okay, you are hot sales. That's how I said it, hot sales. And if you are after 30, you are on 50% off. After 30, you are on 50% off. As degrading as it is, that is how he feels. Then from 30 to 33, no, from 30 to 34, you are I don't know what the language he used, but he's trying to say that not 50%, or you are on 80% sales, kind of. Then from 35 to 35 above, you are there was a very offensive language he used that pertains to sales, something like off the block, or like something like push out the whole sale, nothing to be bad sales, something like that. That was how he qualified it. Then again, we have heard so many people on social media, people who call themselves alpha males or male crusaders, use the language and say, oh, after 33 you are no longer good, you are being managed, you should be happy if a man says hi to you, you should actually pay a man to marry you and all that. It's okay, it's their opinion, it's valid, they have their reasons for it. But what I want to tell you is that after 30, in your 20s, from 20 to from 25, I do not advise any marriage beyond 25. You need to find yourself. I saw a story on my wall yesterday, a 24-year-old girl who already had 4 children and tolerating abuse because she doesn't even know where to start. I don't want that story. I'm an advocate of marriage should be done between 25 to 30 at least. So this person uses this degrading word. It's not just them, a lot of people. Now, what everybody who is doing, did you watch the towel? Oh yeah, now go. What everybody, when you are leaving, tell me, let me close the door. What everybody who say these things to women who do not care, bring fan in my room, that rechargeable fan. What everybody who says this to women do not ever think about is that there is something called the hand of God in our life. Remember that Bible verse that says that, and I'm going to, whatever I'm telling you, I tell you the Bible verse, I tell you the traditional verse. There's this Bible verse that says that even before we were born, God has already known us by name, known what we will become, and seen the beginning from the finishing. That means the minute you were born, your death date was also released. The course of your life, at least to a great extent, is determined by destiny. Apart from the few ones that need intuition, choice, and all that, most of the things that may happen in your life, yes, just put it on. Sorry, no, don't plug it. Just put it on from there. In the middle. Press that right one now. Yes, that one. It's okay. Are you leaving now? Oh yeah, let me lock the door and continue. Sorry guys, please, 1 minute. So most of the things that will happen in your life have been destined by fate. That you are not married, or you did not get married in the course of your lifetime. Those who did not get married and eventually died, that was their fate. It wasn't anything. I know people like to believe that it was subject to any kind of spiritual manipulation. No matter how they manipulate you spiritually, if God has said this thing will happen, it will happen. If it is something, if it's possible for you to be spiritually manipulated so much and it cannot be prayed over, it cannot be done traditionally over, no solution, that means God is not as powerful as we like to believe he is. Some things are fate. So for me, the number one reason that any person would be single is fate. Maybe your fate is that you will be single and do it alone. It might be for your protection too. Maybe your fate is that you will not get married in your 20s. It will be in your early 30s. It will be in your mid 30s. It will be in your late 30s. It will be in your 40s. We are seeing people getting married in their 40s and their 50s and they are absolutely happy and living their best life. Okay? Maybe your destiny is that it will not be even in your 40s. The person that you are supposed to meet is somebody you have to meet in your 60s, in your 70s. Somehow God keeps you alive for whatever he wants you to meet in the future. So number one reason is fate. Fate decides a lot of things. Number two reason, like everybody would say, could be placing and positioning. That could also be the reason why somebody is single. Placing and positioning. And I'll give you an example. Ruth in the Bible was I missed something in faith. Faith, even in the Igbo traditional religion, is something called konye na chi ya si wee ka ndụ ya. Okay? Konye na chi ya si wee ka ndụ ya. So it is how you and your God has decided it will be. Number two, placing and positioning. You might be in Nigeria, single, at 30, thinking, oh, there is nobody for you. Meanwhile, the person God has prepared for you is in London, waiting for you. Maybe they are in a marriage, or the marriage will break for you. I'm telling you, no matter what your pastors are teaching you, if God says a marriage will end for that person to meet you, it will happen. I don't know how he does it, but it happens. If God says somebody is where they should not be, even inside a marriage, for your sake, and there's somebody in your future God has prepared for you, the one you are in, somehow it will break for that one to happen. Whether it ends by death, whether it ends by divorce or anything, it will still happen. So placing and position, you are in Nigeria. The person God has prepared for you, you are looking for Anambra man, you are looking for Imo State, you are looking for Ogun State, you are looking for Calabar man, you are looking for Akwa Ibom, you are looking for a man from Ijo that will marry you. But what God has prepared for you is an Arab man that is in London. If your God is really strong and wants to move you, you find out that one day that Arab man will meet you in Abuja airport, or one day you say, oh, I'm tired of this Nigeria, I'm migrating, I'm jabbing, and you guys go there, you meet the person and you get married at 35, you get pregnant, all those things. That is how God has planned your life. So the place you are may not be. That's why sometimes I tell single people, they'll stay in Onitsha and be complaining, there's no husband in Onitsha, there's no husband in Abuja. I say, move to Lagos, try and be traveling, try and change base. You cannot be in one place forever. Move, change position. That's what positioning. It was what happened to Ruth. It was what happened to Esther. If Esther had stayed back in Jerusalem after the whole demolishing and all that, she may never have the opportunity to be a queen to the caliber of man the king was. It may never have happened to her. If Ruth had stayed back in wherever they were after her husband died, and like what's the other name, Ruth and Ophelia or something, and the other lady had said, oh, I'm going back to my parents, and Ruth said, no, I'm going with you, Naomi, your people shall be my people, my God shall be your God. That's actually where the marriage vow came out from. So if Ruth had not gone with Naomi and gone to Bethlehem and Israel with Naomi and met Boaz, a respected man, Ruth may not have met Boaz. And if Ruth did not meet Boaz, Jesus' generation would not have come. So God needed to take care of Ruth's husband, death-wise, so that Ruth will be able to meet Boaz. So two of them will come together and produce a lineage that will produce Jesus. So there is nothing about life that is actually deliberate. Sometimes it's called the right hand of God or the hand of faith in whatever we are doing. So that's how it works. Placing and positioning. You cannot say you are looking for how do I say this? I've talked about place, right? Positioning. You cannot say you're looking for, okay, oh, I like classy men, I like men like so person and so person, and you're going to hang out where men that do not look like that kind of man is. You cannot say you want a working class girl and the only place you go to look for women is in university joint or clubs. You may likely never find a working class woman there. If you say, oh, you want a particular pedigree in a woman, a working woman that is very quiet, living a quiet life, you live abroad, you come back Christmas, and the only place you are going to look for wife is where they are dancing at Wantilo, the chances that a working class girl would never be seen in that kind of places is high. But if you go to church on Christmas Day, on New Year Eve, or you go to respected parties where you know that the bride is a working class girl, you're more likely to run into the kind of woman you're looking for there. If you say you want a guy that lives abroad, that the husband you want is the husband that lives abroad, the chances of getting a husband that lives abroad is to go to the wedding of a girl that is marrying a man that lives abroad during Christmas, because his friends from abroad will come back, and that is where you can meet a man that lives abroad. It's simple. Placing and positioning is very, very important. So if you say, okay, I'm single and I'm trying to, don't get me wrong, a lot of times they tell women, there's this new facade or new mirage, they tell women, oh, you're single, fuck them, you don't want to be married. No, if you want to still be married, you must learn these things I'm teaching you about, while also accepting that you want does not mean it will happen. You desire does not mean you will get it. So I'm trying to be as realistic as possible. Remember, I told you that this is going to be hard truth, all true. So if you take cognizance of the fact that there's something called place and positioning in marriage. So place and positioning might also be the reason why you're not single. Number 3, I would say spiritual implications, right? The spiritual controls the physical. Don't get deceived. There are people that the reason why they are single is because there is a spiritual angle to their singleness. It's not because they are not fine. I have seen families where there are 8 girls, 5 girls. No man has ever walked into their house to say, we came to pluck flower in your garden. all of them will be growing old. Nobody will get married. If anyone now force herself, say, okay, let me go and born for one man, maybe if I born for him, he will marry me, she will still return back. Nothing is happening. So sometimes it could be the hand of evil people. Maybe it's something that had happened in your lineage. It could be a central causative. I don't believe in central causes who caused your ancestors. So it could be an central causative. What I mean by central causative is that maybe in the pattern of coming down from your ancestors, maybe they had done something to a woman that was married into their family, and the woman in her death or in her lifetime placed a curse on women coming up in the family. Let me tell you, for example, maybe she married into your family, widowhood issue and all that, maltreatment, killing and all that, and the woman say, I put a curse on every daughter of this household, that for the fact I came here to suffer like this, no woman in this family will ever get married and see this thing. It will stick. It will stick. I don't know if I've told you a story, but I'll talk about this one day when we are talking about spiritual controlling the physical, the wickedness of the wicked. One day we'll talk about this, a whole topic on its own. But I'm telling you, it will stick. Now, under the spiritual implication, there's a central causative. That could be something that somebody had put a curse on the lineages of somebody because of something that was done to the person. There could also be wickedness of the wicked. An uncle, an auntie, a woman married into the compound, a mother, a father would have said, oh, over my dead body, this person's children will not marry. It is usually something done by a close relative. So over my dead body, this person will not marry. Over my dead body, this person will not marry. Or this person will stay single for one reason or the other. It is possible. But the thing about the spiritual causative is that at any point it is possible to be broken, unless you have not stood up to search for it. And why you would know that you are dealing with a spiritual problem is that if your hands are clean, it is not something you caused, there will be revelation about it. God does not reveal and does not redeem. So if there are revelations about it, you will know. And if it's serious, the day God wants you to be delivered, even a mad person walking on the street can tell you. If 3 or 4 people that do not know you tell you the same thing, oh, you are dealing with this thing, oh, you are dealing with witchcraft power, oh, you are dealing with this thing, know that there is something there and look for a way to solve it. If they know they do it with what gonna be what gonna be no day for that one. No, you must look for a way to break any kind of genes, family curse and all that. So yes, there are people that are dealing with that. It's not as if they are bad people. It's not as if they are not doing all the right thing. It's not as if they are not meeting men, but for some funny reason, somebody somewhere, or a spirit or a force. Remember, every curse is like a force. Every curse is like a demon that has been sent on an assignment to ensure that something does not come to pass or manifest physically. So there is a way to also trap that demon back or break their holds over you too. So you must also follow up with that to be very sure that it is not a spiritual angle. Another thing that we love to play about and pretend it doesn't exist and it's not true. But it's when people that have dealt with it tell you their story that you know. I'm not among go, because one thing I know is that I have never gone anywhere in all my life and all my waka and anywhere. Pastors will see me like this and they will have like 132 messages about me till the day I said, Onya Fuzina, nobody should say again. I say, okay, as far as I'm concerned, the only thing anybody can say about me is when I'm in danger or there's any danger in my life. Any other thing about me, I close their eyes. You cannot see me. I have that kind of power. We'll talk about that another day. So, but nobody has ever said, oh, Amanda, you have spiritual husband. You have spiritual husband. Nobody has ever told me anything. I don't have, as I'm single in real life, that I'm single even anywhere. I don't have anybody that I'm attached to anywhere. As they see me like this, only me one. Spiritually, only me one too. So there is no spiritual husband. But what I will not deny is the fact that there is spiritual husband. In the Bible, there is spiritual husband. Incubus, succubus is spiritual husband and spiritual wife. What did they used to call it? Incubus, succubus is in the Bible. For the Catholics, if you know the story of Tobit and Tobias and Sarah in the Bible, it was a case of incubus and succubus, which is spiritual husband that Sarah had, and it was Tobit that had to save her from me before he could marry her. That spiritual husband had killed 7 men before Tobias came with the intervention of Angel Raphael, who is the intervening angel for successful marriage. So it is in the Bible. It is not only our Igbo tradition, because some people say, oh, I don't believe in all those things, doesn't need to work, I'm a Christian, the salvation of God. Na lie, e dey Bible. It's still our traditional religion too. So even in our traditional religion, somebody that went to the water spirit, and if you think there are no water spirits, you a joke unto yourself. There are water spirits, there are fire spirits, there are air spirits, there are earth spirits. All the elements that you have heard of, they have their own spirits. Those things are what come together and form what we call principalities and powers. In case you think they do not exist, you a joke unto yourself, you are deceiving yourself. They exist. The earth, all you are seeing here, did not come by itself. There are forces that control it. So in case you are dealing with some people, the reason why they are not married is because they are dealing with spiritual husband, or they are tied to a spiritual place. Coven, water, the worst of the worst is water. Coven self will allow you, but water. But I've seen people that coven can hold. Earth witchcraft is bad though, but the most wicked one is spiritual water witchcraft. If you deal with those one, if you deal with water witchcraft, marine witchcraft, you would know that the earth is one and another one is one. The most vicious of all witchcraft is marine witchcraft. So there are people who may be held back by marine witchcraft or some kind of water spirit that needs appeasing or separating from, for them to go ahead and have earthly husbands. It is true. It is not a lie. Anybody that is telling you is a lie, the person is lying to you. I'm telling you now that it is true. I do not have it, but by the virtue of what I have worked with and everything I've seen in boss, it exists. It is not story. There are people who have spiritual husband. There are people who have spiritual wife. And when you are dealing with them, those ones are vicious in the way that even if you force yourself and say you want to go and marry, when they are done with you, it's you that will use speed and come out of the marriage and go and look for what is happening to you. So if you know that you have checked every other bosses and this is the only boss you've not checked, you might want to go and check that out to know why that singlehood is persisting, if you're very sure every other age, every other angle has been covered. The fourth angle to it is what I call character, maybe, or character or a lifestyle. This is also one of the reasons why a lot of people are single. Character in the sense that you are unteachable, and I'm talking about male and female, is not peculiar to any gender. You do not want to compromise on things. You meet a lot of women in so okay, let me give you an example. I met this guy once from Facebook, and he's like, oh, I can never give a girl 1 naira of my money until I marry her. Okay, I said okay. But me, it was important to me to know that my husband is generous. He said, oh, we'll be sharing 50-50 in the house. We'll be I did not want to marry that kind of person, so I ran away. So he will keep searching for a woman that he will not give penny before he marries her. Keep searching for a woman that will be sharing 50-50 with him. Keep searching for a woman that is going to be a nurse, come over to the US and be suffering for him. He might be doing this, so when he started doing this thing, he was 30-something when I knew him. Now he's 40-something. 2 of us were still single, like that. So he's still looking for something. He's not ready to change or renegotiate on that character. So a woman comes into his life, and I'm like, oh, I can't deal with this, and they leave. As the women go, it's not necessarily that you're a bad person, but as that is a character deformation, what you consider a strong character to you might be a bad character to another person. And I'm going to use myself as an example. I was talking about this morning with my partner. I am someone who does not, I don't like gumbody love. Like, I wake up in the morning, I see you. I wake up in the afternoon, I see you. I want to sleep at night, I'm seeing you. Every minute of the day, I'm seeing you. Alaga one day. I don't want to be seeing anybody like that. I don't want to be seeing anybody like that. Now, if the men who come to marry me and say, oh, when I marry you, I need you to move to US, I need you to move to UK, I need you to move to Australia, we have to live together, I cannot live apart. Automatically, I am always running from them because I know I don't want to be waking up in the morning and be seeing anybody every day. If I see you every day, 365 days, every day of the year, one day you wake up and they say your wife ran away. You go do you like movie, your wife ran away. Oh, where did she run to? I don't know. You come to social media and see me, but you cannot get me. It is possible. So it would never work for me if I'm somebody who is in a day in, day out marriage. I don't think it will work for me. So that's already a character deficiency for me, and it's only somebody who understands me that way that will be able to cope with that. Maybe if I get married to someone I'm crazy about, it might change, because you never say never with anything. So maybe that might change one day, but I can tell you for sure now that that is one big problem I have. So it's a character deficiency. Secondly, I already am used to a certain type of lifestyle. I'm not about to change it. I'm telling you some of the things that have been an issue with me and men. Since 2016, I've never washed my own clothes. I have somebody doing that. I have someone cleaning the house. Now I have to move to the UK to be with a man, or move abroad to be with a man. Hiring helps is expensive. You now tell me I have to be cleaning the house. I'll be washing clothes. I have to wash all our clothes now. Who will do it? I'll wash all our clothes, clean the house, feed children, do this, go to work, come back. Hey, every time I think about it like this, my head is, oh man, I no fit. But if I have to marry a man who is not rich, that lives abroad, and I go abroad, I have to do all those things. So when I think of it like that, I'll be like, fuck this shit, man, make a day where I did. So it's already a character problem. The only person that can cope is the person that will stay back in Nigeria with me. And if you stay back in Nigeria with me, problem will come in the first angle, right? So the only thing that will happen is for the people who knows they can give me that lifestyle to continue with me. I like to travel. I do not hide the fact. I like to go out on my own. I'm not going abroad to go and have sex with anybody or anything. I just love seeing different places, recording it and all that. And I get married. Now tell me that one of the rules and regulations of marriage is that you cannot travel alone again. You cannot travel. You cannot do this. You cannot do this. You cannot wear this. You cannot wear. Too many rules and regulations. The thing is scaring me. So I don't want to do. So it's better I stay alone than to go and marry somebody's son. And when the person say, I tell the person, oh, I want to go to Maldives for 1 week and chill and get off the stress. My husband will not say, and rightly so. My husband will not say, no, you cannot go. You did that when you were single. You can't do that again. And now come and start calling. You're a useless man. Oh, your mate. It doesn't make sense. So to make sure you avoid unnecessary fights in your marriage, do not marry somebody who will have a problem with that traveling. Do you get like that? So every other person have their own issues that might also be a hindrances to their settling down. I've listed like 3 things I know are my own problem and all that, and I have a very social life. Not every man wants somebody who is in social eye. Maybe if they know, oh, this is Amanda's husband, no, maybe now he go to one girl and say, oh, girlie, how far now? Let's see in this hotel. Or they see him in the hotel, entering hotel room with one baby. They just, they'll go to Insta blog or Gist Love and say, I saw that influencer's husband with one smally girl. So every time I say, oh, my husband cannot, there is a woman ready to post the picture and say, wait, is this not your husband that I saw? But if he was a nobody's husband, he will be able to carry his smallies and go to wherever he likes. I'll not come and tell him not to carry his smally because he's married to me. Yeah, maybe he could want to do that as a sacrifice for our relationship or our marriage to be healthy. But if he wants smally and he's now afraid that his wife, anywhere he go, there's not say Amanda's husband. You get? It's not working. So there are people who do not want women in the spotlight or in the limelight or whatever it's called. So that is also normal. So it could be a character thing holding you down or anything, but then again it could be your lifestyle also, in the sense that I live in a 3-bedroom apartment now, right? I wanted to get a 4-bedroom. My mother refused. Say, oh, it is too much. If you now stay in a 4-bedroom, what will you now move into? So I moved from 3-bedroom to 3-bedroom. But as I'm in 3-bedroom now, if I now go and marry a man that lives in 1-bedroom or 2-bedroom, where will I keep my shoe? That's why I used to ask my own. Where will I keep my shoes? Where will my shoe enter? My clothes is not even entering one room. Where will my shoes enter? That is what I'm asking you. Color work. I seen it will not work. If he now moves into my house, people will not say I went to go and pay to marry the man. So my lifestyle is now in a place where I cannot go beyond a certain bracket of comfort. Okay, so if I'm marrying you and I live in a 3-bedroom house now, if I'm marrying you, we should be moving into a 4 or 5-bedroom now. That's where we should be moving. But not that I will move from 3-bedroom and move into your 2-bedroom. I will not sell my shoes out. I'll pack it and go to the village. It will not work. So a lot of women who have, and that is the bad part about getting married after you have made it, a lot of women who have achieved a level of financial comfort are not willing. It's not that they are bad. They are not just willing to go back to a certain level again, all in the name of Mrs. I remember when I was coming back from Lagos, the last time I went to Lagos to shoot, and this taxi driver kept talking and all that. Oh, la, and they brought up the case of Linda Ikeji. He was like, oh, no man will want to marry Linda. I was like, why? He said, oh, she lives in Banana Island. If you marry her, are you going to tell her to move her from Banana Island and move in with you at Lekki? Or are you going to tell her to move in with you in a 4-bedroom at Lekki? Are you going to tell her to move in with you in a 2-bedroom at Sulere? Are you going to tell her to move in with you in a 3-bedroom at Festac? That she will not agree. I was like, rightly so. Maybe Linda does not even think of all those things, but rightly so. Why should I move her from Banana Island and go and move into your 2-bedroom in Lekki? You can say all the glamorous things you want to say and tell yourself, oh, it doesn't matter. What matters is happiness. Now, lie. It's the money that is to make happiness, that the happiness will be doing like this. So a lifestyle could also be a hindrance. Look at Toke Makinwa. Toke Makinwa, Chioma Goodlight, Chioma Good Hair, and all those ones. Those ones are living luxe life. They fly business class. They go to Ibiza. They go to St. Tropez and all that. They go to they go to Monte Carlo. Do you get? These are where they hang out. Okay? Most of the men who go to Monte Carlo, St. Tropez and all that are not young. They have made money for a long time. They are not new money, they are old money, and the probability that they are going to be married is high. But that's where the girls go and they are happy. They are no longer doing Maldives with us. They have moved to another level. They are now doing St. Tropez, Monte Carlo and all that. While we in our level, we are still doing Maldives. You get? So now you're telling these girls, and Toke flies first class or business class, owns her own house in Ikoyi, that so many married people, husband and wife, cannot even afford 1 bedroom or one self-contained. She lives there as a single girl in her own mansion, owned by her. Nobody sharing it with her. So now you're telling her she should leave that mansion now and come and move in with Okoro that lives in Sulere in 2-bedroom flat. So the lifestyle could be a hindrance, okay? Or you tell a girl who has driven G-Wagon and driven Range Rover and carries only original Hermes or carries only original Fendi or Fendi with the Fendi, that she should come and be flying Ethiopia Airline economy, how do they used to call it, eco economy, like the economy mwamba economy, like tail of the plane, ganga tail of the plane. It's not possible. So sometimes the lifestyle or the character or some things can make you choose to stay single until you see what you're looking for. But even in your heart, you know that in your heart of heart that what you're looking for may not be out there, but the lifestyle is important to you. So that is simply saying that the person has chosen their lifestyle and their happiness over a perception of happiness, what happiness can be and all that. So that's number 4. Number 5 is trauma. I think number 5 for me should be trauma and post-trauma and experiences. People do not know how this thing happened. You dated a guy, the relationship was abusive, psychologically, mentally, physically, and all that. It has been too much for you. You're so scared. You don't want to get hurt again. So rather than going out to look for what's there, maybe you date the first man, same thing, second man, same thing, third man, same thing. Be like, no, I don't want to go near these people again. That is it, right? Some might be what they had seen their parents go through. You saw your mom abusing your dad. You saw your dad abusing your mom. You saw some shitty things as a child that you knew, like, nah, this is it. So you pass on, you grow up with the traumatic experiences from this and just refuse to indulge in anything. So that could also be a curse. Then I wouldn't lie, the social media has had a way of exposing us to other people's life. When we were not with social media, we didn't have so much stories to tell. Divorce was minimal because people were facing their shit in their house. Nobody knew what was going on. It was very, very rare to see divorce. But social media came with an age of exposure where we are seeing the kind of rubbish people put up with in the name of marriage. You go to my inbox and you see stories that you're like, what? Are you guys crazy? What are you doing there? It's not a lot of people telling happy stories. Even when they tell happy stories, we have a way of shouting them down. You're just showing off. Anybody that is happy in public is dealing with so much. If you're happy, you will not be announcing it. We tell people this story, so we do not get to see a lot of happy stories about marriage, but we see a lot of miserable stories. Because every other day, Gist Lover is exposing somebody whose husband is cheating, somebody who is in the like, as if they don't used to do these things before. They used to do it before. It has always been like that. Nothing that you are seeing is new. Nothing you are seeing on earth is new that has not happened since BC, DC, or finding these things and exposing these things, and people are living in fear. Every day you come to social media, there's one horrible stories about husband and wife, and you are seeing some people will tell you their stories like this, will be shaking like this. Then you see somebody tell you their husband has not touched them in 4 freaking years. Why would I want to live? Okay, sorry, it's bad. So you're seeing people say, oh, this man beat me up, this man raped me, this man did this. Then you listen to men be like, oh, my wife, oh, omerumunka. You get scared. You don't even want to experience. You're tapping from other people's experience and you don't even want to go near that. So you'll be like, is this what people used to see in the marriage? That which is true. It is better you alone than to go and inherit. What are the chances that you end up with the good one? What are the chances that you not also be among the people that ended up with the bad one? You see your married friends telling you, nah, man, if I know it, I know now for no do. So other people's experience is number 5 for me. It has had a way of shaping. So some people are scared, like phobia for settling down is from other people's experience. So that's number 5 for me. Now, talking about society and the pressure, it is crazy. Like I said at the beginning of the video, in case you were not here when I talked about it, I have seen crazy pressure. None of this pressure is coming from my family. The only kind of pressure my mom can put on me is saying, hey, Pastor Sikwamuna, you gonna do the traditional wedding, and all those kind of things. I know she's praying. I don't blame her. I'm her first daughter. I'm her first child. So even though she has son-in-law, she has a daughter that is married. My own is important to her. So I get it, and it's okay. It's okay to allow your mom. Don't be that person. Maybe your parents talk. You say, oh, don't tell me that. No, please. If they are telling you, just be nodding. Just be telling them it's fine. If you have understanding parents like me, prepare them also for the possibility that what they are hoping for may never happen. But at the same time, be also kind to them. They're a generation different from our own generation. They're a generation who do not understand what we are dealing with presently. So be kind to them. If they are pressuring you, anybody that is pressured, apart from the vindictive, insultive pressure, anybody that is worried about these things with you, they are not doing it from a place of spite. They want you to be happy because they feel that this is what happiness means. So they are not doing it from a place of spite, or they are doing it from a place of bitterness and all that. When it's coming from a place of bitterness, you know. But when it's coming from a place of concern, you know. So indulge them. Hey, Jesum, like the person that called me a few days ago. So, hey, they were surprised. Oh, you of all people, you're a good person. What's wrong now? I said, I don't know. That's what he wants to hear. And I know he's not coming from a place of spite. He's just concerned about me because he likes me. So he says, Ngwan, oburu ego is the nyenu na na-emekwa eme. Just inye the man ego. Onubagi ngwan oyega man. The advice sounds stupid to me. But he's saying it because he cares about me. So as frustrated as it may be to you that people are putting this pressure on you, I need you to understand that they are not doing it all the time from a place of spite. The people who are doing it mostly from a place of spite are those who want to quarrel with you and to organize. Like, I come to social media, I see a stranger say, go and get married. It's coming from a place of spite. So you can do whatever you want to those people, insult them as much as you want. But when it's coming from family that have been nothing but loving to you, friends that have been nothing but loving and caring for you, please understand that they are doing it from a good place. So do not let that ever get to you. Secondly, another thing you need to know is that the society may likely never rate you to be much until you settle down. There are two things that make the society rate somebody. I'll tell you what it is. If you are single after 30, but you have loads and loads of money, people do not insult you as much as insult the one that doesn't have money. Because the one that doesn't have money might likely be in her father's house, depending on her brothers and her parents. Every time they give her food, they are angry. She talk, problem. She doesn't talk, problem. Those insults likely coming from a place of financial lack. So that's why I always tell women, if love is not coming for you, try let money come for you. The worst that can happen for you is that money is not coming, love is not coming. Omo, it can be frustrating, no. So if one is not happening, try let another one be happening. Two things must not be lacking, love or money. You must find one. Secondly, you might need to wean yourself off the societal opinions. Sometimes you might need to block your ear. If you notice, like the case of Oprah is in a modern society. She chose to stay single, but Oprah is so rich. Oprah has a partner, so people do not disrespect Oprah. I doubt there are people who tell her to her face, oh, go and marry. Because if you look at her life and look at your own, where you take better pass her with your marriage. So these things might be said over and over again in the course of your lifetime, but you also need to understand that spite, even the ones that are married, they still find a way to insult them. Like I insulted one woman yesterday. She came for me, oh, she's married though. She insulted me, but when I gave her the washing of her life, both she and the marriage, I finished them together. Me, I don't care. She looked for my trouble. So that one aside. So those insults will come. Secondly, you need to be honest with yourself. Forget all these things that people come on social media and be speaking English. Polygamy is a crime. Talking all this jati. Some of you, that polygamy is what is waiting for you. Imerenu, Imelani. You want to be married, you are not in the category of people that say fuck shit. If I don't marry, don't marry. It's okay. You need to be married. That polygamy might be your situation. Oh, I did not say go and break up somebody's home. Oh, I did not say anything. Remember, it's not for everybody. But on your I did in agreement. The wife know, the husband know, the woman know. You might try to. The most important thing is that it happens. Do not think that being single does not deprive you of some privileges. There are jobs you want to go to, even in this country. With me, up till now, there are jobs you want to go for, and they will deny you that job because you're not married. Somebody will say, oh, Are you married? He said, no, I'm not married. If she cannot keep a man, is it my job, is it my business or my money that she can maintain? You're going to get those kind of discrimination. So there are places you do not even want to venture into because of marriage. But if you come there and say, oh, I'm married, I'm Mrs. Bokwa for one person like that, nobody will ask you, are you the first or the second or the third or the fifth or the seventh wife? Nobody's going to ask you any kind of stupid question. I am married is, I am married. Are you married to a madman? Are you married to a rubbish man? Married is married. So if it's important to you to have that acceptability, to have that love, to have that open doors or whatever marriage brings, you might want to look at, what do you call it, polygamy. If it's acceptable to you and you find willing partners. Yes, there are willing partners. There are people their wife cannot give birth and they are old and the wife say, oh, go and look for a second wife to marry. There are Muslims that say, okay, I want 4 wives. I know from day one that I'll marry 4 wives. First wife, second wife, third wife, 4 wives. Marry and face your front. There are traditionalists that will say, oh, I want to marry 10 wives. See Regina now, if she had listened to all people's beke trouble, she will not be where she is now. So there are cases like that. It might even be Shade Okoya's case. If she listen to all of you now, she will not be the chairman of Eleganza Group. It might also be like that. So I'm not telling you anything. No, use your head, look at your situation and tell yourself the truth. Leave all they will talk. If you listen to all they will talk, it's not go reach for you. So that one is your choice. Another thing is that the reality of the situation is that, how do our people say, nanka kana nwanyi na ama ulu nwaba. So if you, in all your singleness, it's okay to be single forever, it's okay to be single till death, but I feel if you want a child, you get to a certain point in that singlehood, you stop waiting for Mr. Right. You stop waiting for husband and you do what you have to do. Have a child. If you see somebody who is willing, good enough to father the child, have the child. Leave all this noise of they don't used to marry single mother. Nobody wants single mother. If they offer you single mothers get married every day. So no matter who does not like them or what anybody feels about them, they will still get married. The chances of you getting married as a single mother is still 50/100. The chances of you getting married without a husband or without a child is 80/100. But there's also a 50% chances that with your child, somebody will marry you. After all, somebody married my friend with her 5 children. 5 children. Young boy that has never been married. He's not poor, did not buy, because that my friend too, she buy, she no get. But someone took her and her 5 children and they are still married up to today. Single mother with 5 children, they married her. She also gave birth to 2 children for the man, to making it 7 children, and they are living well up to today. So the ever thought that maybe if you have a child while you are in your waiting period, that nobody will look at you again, is not true. You can even still see somebody that his wife has passed or her husband has passed that will still marry you. You can see divorced man or divorced woman that will still marry you with the single parenting that you have. So if you wait and wait, husband is not coming, wife is doing like this, try and born child. Because at the end of the day, even those that marry themselves, if they no born, nobody to give you water when you are old. That you are married does not mean that there is no child, that there is somebody to give you water. Where would this water come from? It's still a child that will hand the mother water. It's the child that will bathe the mother for her, the mother and the father, and prepare them for their last ride. So whether you are a man or wife, or all of you are in the same position, don't deceive yourself. They have certificate, you don't have certificate, all of you are the same. So please, if you get to a certain age, you also need to consider the possibility of having a child. Let the people who will talk. All the talks that they have been talking on social media, all the cuss out, all the shit they have been saying about single mothers, after they are finished saying it, have you ever gone home and your child will be like, Tawai, you are useless. Why did you become a single mother? Why did you have me as a single mother? It is not true. Nobody's child is slapping them. When they finish talking all those nonsense, when you go home, your daughter or your son will still see you, shout, "Mommy, mommy," come and hug you, hold you. Your child will still see you, as unless you are not doing a good job raising that child. Your child will still think that the sun and the moon rise in your eye. As imbalanced as it may look like, as incomplete family unit as it may look like, your child will also still grow up to become an adjusted individual, whether they have or they do not have. It's not different from a widow or a widower that is growing up without a parent. You that is growing up with, you are just the one raising the child. Child wey go dey useful go still dey useful. Child wey go useless go still dey useless. It doesn't mean that children from mother and father present home do not become useless. Some of them will carry guns, some of them will do whatever they like. So it's really not up to you. It's not all these things that determine the welfare or the growth of a child. So at some point you might want to think of it. But what the biggest problem most of us have is that we are too concerned about what absolute strangers have to say about them. What strangers, the opinion of strangers. You're trying to look good for people on social media. You're trying to look good for people in your church who you barely converse with. Unless it's your ideology. There are people that, if you like, talk from now till tomorrow. I saw a story recently. I don't know whether people saw it. She was 105 years or 94 years, one of those age. I saw one of those age, and she's still a virgin. She's still waiting for a man to meet the right man. At 105, she's hopeful that she will not die a virgin because a man will come. These are some of the things the society does to people. You are 95, you are waiting for a man to come and love you and marry you. Whose son are you waiting for at 94, a virgin? You get? And you have to live a life where you're dependent on other people. You're hoping that other people's children have pity on you and take care of you. You're hoping someone takes pity on you and take care of you. And life will pass you by. You keep waiting. Every year you're hoping, it's not 35, it might be 36, it might be 37, 38. Before you know what's happening, 45, you have woken up. Life has gone by. So you do not want to be in that place. The thing I will still say is that, first of all, do not let all that talk get to you. People are gonna talk. You do, they talk. You don't do, they don't talk. You take no action, they talk. You don't. Whatever you do, people will still have a way to have an opinion about it. So what I always advise people is do what is best for you. It is also okay if you choose not to have children and not get married and still be very, very happy. You can still live a fulfilled life when you can no longer take care of yourself. Your strength is failing you. You check into an old people's home, or you hire a nurse and pay them to take care of you till you die and leave your property to whoever wants to take over the property. It's still possible. You may wake up now and then with regrets about the path your life has taken. You might wake up now and then with anger towards your God for the path your life has taken, but it's still okay. It's still a beautiful life. It still depends on what you make out of it. It's because we are in Nigeria, where people still feel like they must have a say in what happens in other people's life, and everybody must follow their own pattern of life, and everybody's life must go according to what they wish and how they see it. It's not true. Abroad, you will see women that are in their 40s who say, I don't want to get married. I don't want to have children. I'm happy with my cats. I'm happy with my dogs and all that. And they live a very fulfilled life, live a very, very long life, die, and people still drop flowers in their grave. It's still okay. We're still in a society that judge you for not being married. Nobody, all these stories I've listed, nobody cares about this. All they care about, why didn't you find one Mr. Left and drag him to the right and do it? Marriage is marriage. Anything you see, they are taking like that. That is how our people see marriage. Marriage is marriage. Anything you see, they are taking like that. Why should I take it like that? Why is it not okay for you to understand where I am in life and respect it? Everybody must not have the same pattern of life. Trust me, if life was all black and blue, everything the same story, you go to family one, man, woman, got married 1995, had a child 1996, born 6 other children, live happily ever after. Man and woman, got married 2005, gave birth 2006, lived happily ever after. Man and woman, life is just like that. A, B, C, D to Z. Everybody the same thing. Life will be boring now. What's the need of God? Why do we now need God? If our life is all, everybody has children, there is no barren in the land. Of all there shall not be barren in the land that they have said. There are people that still live all their life. So there are people that have lived all their lives, and they never had children. And why they now died without children? Because maybe the wife will not say, oh, over my dead body, my husband will still not marry another wife. If you like, two of us will die like that. Or they are hoping for some miracle, not knowing that this is how life is. If they had gone somewhere else, maybe the child may have come. But is this doggedness, this holding on to principles that may not work for us, that had kept people where they are? So it all depends. So my advice, I'm rounding this up, I've even exceeded my time. My advice for people that will tell you, you are not in crime for being single after 30. In fact, anybody that tell you is your character, is this, even in that character, even in other lifestyle, in everything I've mentioned, if there is somebody that wants you bad, the person will still have you. Okay? So is let's say some people will say, oh, because is this person have bad character, they talk anyhow, they do this. It is somebody that married the women that you see on Facebook talking it's somebody that married them. It's somebody that married the woman that everybody in the street knows that she's a fighter. It's somebody that married the woman in the street that if she pass like this, you will not breathe for 30 minutes because she's bleaching. It's somebody that will go to what do they used to call this place that Olosho people used to take? They'll go to Allen Avenue, pick a wife, put her in the house, and the wife will still be going from that house to Allen Avenue again, and the man will still be there. All the bad characters you can think of, you can also find it in a wife. So it is not a question of bad character. It's not bad character. All the men are not looking for good character. There are some people that like madness. I remember one of my friends that every day she's fighting. The man that married her, when people went to go and tell him, oh, you don't know this girl, she's always fighting, the man said, it is that her fight that I like, that I'm a very quiet person and I come from a troublesome family, so I need a wife that will be fighting everybody for me. That's why he married her, she and her fight. So there's really somebody for everybody if there is, but it's also okay for you to know that you might not meet your person in this lifetime. That you desire for it to happen does not mean it will happen. So I tell people, no matter the condition in your life, no matter what it looks like, no matter the insult, no matter what anybody is telling you, it is okay. The secret that to a happy lifestyle that nobody is ever going to tell you, but I'll tell you for free, is accepting the truth about life. And the biggest truth about life is that everything will not happen for everybody. And everybody will not experience the same thing. When you make peace with this very aspect of your life, life will be easy. It doesn't take away the fact that people will still insult you. No matter what I do, if I like, let me be the saint of the saint on social media. As long as I'm single, people will find something to say. Peradventure I get married tomorrow, you still see people that say, is it not that girl that married at old age? Is it not that girl that married at 34? They don't care. They will find something to say. I give birth at 40, they will say, oh, why will you give birth at 40? Your mates are taking their children to secondary school. Your mates are attending their children's university graduation. You are still taking your child to kindergarten. You are still taking your child to crèche. They will have something to say. I give birth at 50. They will say, oh, wicked person, why are you giving birth now that your strength is... They will have something to say. So the earlier you stop being concerned about what they will say, the better for you. The earlier you stop being concerned about what will be said, the better for you. It is okay. If you desire to marry, you have a very, 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 very valid desire. Do not let anybody tell you, oh, you are woke age. It doesn't matter. If it's what you want, please look at all the factors we have mentioned and make sure that it's not one of these that is mitigating your plans to settle down. Tackle it if you need to tackle it. And if it still doesn't happen, hands up. You are not God. You cannot know more than God. All we can do as human is to try our best. And if it doesn't work, it's okay. The minute you start laying on your bed and start saying, oh, my own is the worst, so why did this not happen for me? Oh, I have suffered. Oh. You will kill yourself early. Accept whatever it is. In fact, happier people seems to make the best partners and attract better to themselves, because if somebody sees you're happy, they are normally attracted to happy people. Okay? So you need to be in that place where you're not so bothered about it. I always believe that what will be will be. And that's why the Korean people call the Inyu. People that are destined to meet will meet in any circumstance, no matter the conditions. People that are destined to meet will meet. So if there's anybody that God has said will come your way, place and position might work for you later, and you might have to move to the place you meet that person. It is okay. We cannot all be married in our 20s. We cannot all get married in our 30s. We cannot all get married in our 40s. I just saw a video of a woman who got married at 50. I know when Auntie Avila remarried and she's still happy. The kind of marriage she's enjoying, the attention she enjoys from her husband. Look at Rita Dominic. So look at the attentions they are all enjoying. Look at what's her name? What's this girl's name? Jennifer Lopez. Look at how happy she is. That was somebody she dated then, and they cancelled on each other. They came back now. They are very, very happy. So life is always like that. You can only do your best, but if it doesn't work for you, fine. Then I also want to talk to the group of people who form what we call the society. It's always easy for you to wake up in the morning and talk to people, insult people. There are 3 things, as far as I'm concerned, that you do not insult people with: marriage, children, and what's the third one? I'm always forgetting. But it doesn't make sense. Nobody manufactures children. Nobody manufactures husband. That you desire it does not mean it will happen. So you do not insult people with these things, because it is out of our control. Even you that is bragging about getting married early can become a widow. And once you're a widow, widow is not title. Once you're a widow, you have become a single mother. You are doing it alone. There's nothing like widowed parents. Once you're a widow, you are now back to that start, but with a little bit burden and a surname. That's the only difference. Okay? So a single mother can also put a ring in her hand and claim widowed. Right? So life, you cannot insult people with children and not getting married, because the mother of 7 can become the mother of none in the twinkle of an eye. And the mother of none can become the mother of 7 in the twinkle of an eye. It takes one conception for it to happen. A married person can actually be unmarried and widowed in the matter of a second. And somebody who is not married can actually get married to a better man in the matter of seconds. These are not things we decipher. So these are things that God graciously gives to those He wants to give to. And if you are lucky enough that God has given you this, the least you can do is to face your front. Stop. It's like I have an iPhone, right? I'm using an iPhone 13 Pro Max. Then I go about saying, all those people who are not using iPhone 13 Pro Max, you are failures in life. You are not good enough. You are useless. That makes me stupid. The money to get the iPhone 13 Pro Max, whether I got it or not, is not from me. It came from God. So when I go about telling people you are useless for not having iPhone 13 Pro Max, it makes me very, very stupid. That's the truth. So nothing you have was gotten because you are the wisest, you are the most humble, you are the best in the market or anything. Anything you have came from God. So if God had graciously given you this blessing, keep your mouth shut about those who have not been, or who you consider not as blessed as you are. I remember my friend who got married and she was, I must marry. She went to go and marry. Under 2 years, it was her first child. I know how she worked so hard to have that child. I know what she worked so hard to get married. I mean, the child even came easily, it's the marriage. I know where all the places she went to, all the things she did. She wanted to get married. She was 30 something. I was in my 20s and she wanted to get married. I still tell you guys this particular story I'm telling you when I'm talking about principalities and power. When she forced herself, they did. She went to go and get married to this guy. And you know, this guy just came into her life. Sharp. Everything was just like this. I'll marry you, we'll take you to Spain, I'll do this. Everything was just going back. Under how many weeks they married her? What she did not take out the time to ask is where she was getting married to, and if there's anything that is wrong or right in the family. That's how she got married. Do you know, my friend got married, she got pregnant, extremely beautiful woman. She got pregnant. She went to give birth in Lagos. She was giving birth. Next thing, they said she was losing blood. As they were about to transfuse blood though, the generator now went off in the hospital. By the time they went around, did everything, they came, they on blood, the girl had bled out already. She died before they could all the generator. The hospital had 2 generators. The generators went off. If I call the hospital now, it would be a problem, but it's a very big hospital in Lagos. The 2 generators in the hospital refused to start. By the time they finished doing whatever they would do, and the generator, they went to go and bring generator, the girl had already bled out. That's how she died. It was in her burial. I was sitting down like this. Other women were sitting down, and people were talking. That's when somebody now dance saying, "Na the girl ndi be ha jukwale so we bia no ba na normally chanwa ha waste." As in, if you're not hearing Igbo, what they were saying that the girl that did her family even ask questions before they allowed her to marry that guy, that they just wasted this girl. That's when they now say that in the boys' family, that none of their wives ever make it out of labor room. In the boys' family, that none of their wives, they keep getting married to people, and they do not tell women this story. They'll just come and marry you sharp like this, use money and confuse you. Say, "Hey, God has sent me abroad husband. Oh, my husband is living abroad. Oh, you just marry, confuse you like this." None of their wives, all the sons in the family, none of them have a living wife. None of them have a living wife. As you are getting married into the family, the only thing that will make you survive is that you don't get pregnant at all, which is not possible now. Who can get married and not get pregnant? None of the sons in the family has a living wife. All of them, their wives died through labor. My friend did not know this. Her family did not know this. I was the one who heard it because I didn't go inside. I don't view like dead bodies. So I was standing outside waiting for them so we can go to church. So I was standing outside, and the women of the guy's village were discussing outside. That was when I heard this thing. Immediately I heard it, I was angry. By the time we got to the church, I saw the guy doing like this. My friend's child survived, by the way. I saw the guy like this, so he was doing, I say, broken widow. I wanted to go and give him like back-to-back slap because he knew this. Why marry this girl? You would argue here he's in love. It's not true. He knew his family was dealing with this. There was a chances that would happen to my friend. But he married her, he did not tell her. So my friend, in her bid to get married, everybody was married, she needed to marry, went to go and marry this guy and died in the process. So sometimes you might be forcing yourself into something that God did not even prepare for you. Look at all the people that have been lost in domestic violence. Look at the man that his wife stabbed. Didn't even have a child in the marriage. After how many years? No child. Simply that he talked to another girl. She was sleeping in the night. She went to where he was sleeping. Premeditated murder. The girl is already out. Is it not 3 years now? Because she had connect. They let her go. They pardoned her. But the guy is dead. I'm very sure if you wake that guy up in the dream and in his grave and tell him, would you to stay single or to marry again? The man will say, please, I want to stay single in 2 lifetimes than to die violently like that. She didn't even think for a second. I'm not able to give this guy a child, so why can't he get a child outside? He's the only son of his family. It wasn't her business. All she did is that she went to where he was sleeping and put a knife here, knowing fully well that stab here, nobody can survive because you have cut a major vein. She cut it off like this. She stayed in jail for just 3 years. They released her. So if you go to ask all those people who died through domestic violence, who died in painful marriage, some women will suffer in the marriage, suffer. They will say, hey, Chineke. On their deathbed, they will say, some people, I'll tell people about this. In some people, this is what they said in their former word, that in this world now they did not get married again. If this is how marriage is, my next life, may I never get married. Kamawu. honor your word. In the next life, you know what? Because it's protecting you. Because if you look at you or the cycles of life, you find out that people live a repetitive lifestyle, the same thing all over again, the same circle all over again, the same circle all over again. That's if you believe in what I'm saying. If you don't believe, this is not your business. So because they have said it with their mouth and their chi has honored it, that if it's this how marriage is, they have suffered in this marriage, this is how marriage is, in their next life they don't want to get married again. Their chi will say, okay, for your own preservation, this was what you asked for in this life, let me protect you from this thing. It's possible. So sometimes that marriage not happening may be for your protection. That thing that you are saying, oh, it has not happened to me, oh, maybe for your protection. And you'll be thinking, oh, God is punishing you. No, God is punishing you. It might be for your protection. A denial is also in protection. So do not think that sometimes, and I've told you guys this story again, when I was desperate, I wanted to get married before 30. The person I was supposed to marry let me and marry someone else. And I already had a dream that he would die 3 years after the marriage. If I had said, okay, I must marry this guy, when he started coming back and all that, and I forced myself into the marriage, 3 years later, I would have still been a widow. So what was the need? I just got married to answer married woman for 3 years, and I'll start life all over again and be praying for another husband instead of being patient and wait for my own husband to come. So life is like that. I've seen people that just got married, on their way they'll have accident and die or something. I saw people that got married, sickness, 1 day after the wedding, 2 days, all those things. It is better that you're on your own than to encounter that, or go and marry horrible person, you divorce. So life is not the way we think about it. Be kind to those who are not privileged to have what you think is a privilege to you. If you know you're happy in your marriage, if you know you're happy in your life, why are you making mockery of people who do not have the blessings you think you have? So it's very unkind. Immediately I see anybody on social media insulting someone over not having children, not having marriage, and not being married or not, I just know that you were raised in a pigstry. You were not well raised. If you like, let your mother and father be there. They are both bad parents. They didn't raise you well. No well-raised child insults people with marriage and barrenness. So you would go, I have to block you. There's nothing about him. If you know you're so blessed, you'll be counting your blessings rather than counting what God has not blessed others with. So the thing there, and the final thing, I'm tired of talking, my mouth is beginning to ache, is that whether you are single, whether you're married, whether you have this, whether you don't have that, be happy with whatever you're dealing with. At the end of the day, when you die, and I don't think anybody will be asking you for husband certificate or anything, or wife certificate, what they will ask you, did you live your life well? So child or no child, husband or no husband, do not force anything. It will happen when it will happen, and it's also okay if it does not happen for you. So that is it for today. Maybe another time, I don't want to promise tomorrow, we'll subsequently talk about other things as the spirit leads and as the motivation leads. So thank you guys for joining me today. It's been over 1 hour we've been talking. So I'll take the questions if there is any question, and we can move on from there. I'll take the question. So is there any question? Let me check my wall and see. Let me see if there are any questions. So if you have any question, I'm not seeing any question here. So if there's any question, I'll just take it and we'll move forward. So if you have any question, I'm not seeing any. Okay, any question? Okay, Ebitimi Albert Mishak, I have a question. So you can ask me, I'm waiting. Okay, any question? I can't see this. How does someone know if she has spiritual husband? You would know by the dreams you have. If you see yourself making love to somebody in the dream, if you see a particular man always coming to you in the dream, it's an indication that you may have a spiritual husband. If you see yourself always having sex in the dream, it's an indication that you may have a spiritual husband. Sometimes you might not manifest all this, but there is a kind of demonic force. I think there are always signs to know. You should see them in your dream. You should see them in your dream, and whether you have or you don't have, just always pray about it. Just always pray about it. That's what I would advise. So it doesn't. I think that's the indication. How do you make inquiry about a man and his family? I used to have an agency, a part of my event company called Joyce. I know some of you know Joyce because some of you used our service a lot. It was one of our most popular services. So what we do is this: beyond the whole grima about getting married, we take out the time to go to the person's village. We go to the person's neighborhood, and we go to the person's workplace and ask discreet questions about the family. Sometimes you can pray and God will show you certain things. There was somebody I was supposed to marry, and God showed me something about his family. I don't want to talk about it here because I think I've seen him on the live video. So God showed me certain things about his family and said, don't do this. So when I now heard some certain stories later, I just knew it was that thing God showed me that was why I said, okay, no, God said this about it. So sometimes if you're very prayerful, God will show you yourself. If you're not prayerful, you can go to good pastors and prophets. They can look. I'm not saying they should choose your husband for you, but tell them so thing. I want to know more about this. They will see. Or you can take out your time. I don't know why they don't do that anymore. Everybody's forming. When you want to marry somebody, this go imaun or something. I don't know what it's called, but you go to the person's house and stay with them for 8 days. Go to their village and stay with them for 4 days. There used to be 4 days, first, then 8 days. In that 8 days, take your time, go around the community and ask questions. I don't know why they don't do that thing anymore. Whether we are forming, all of us are doing city marriage. So those things were what our ancestors put in place to make sure that we ask the right questions about who we are getting married to. And if you see what's not good enough for you, fine. But this time we don't ask questions again. I love you, everybody will be going. So we used to have those things before. So that's also a way to make inquiry about a man and his family, a woman and his family. The neighbors are always aware. It's not as if they are always correct, but when you gather information, you sieve out the ones you can manage, you sieve out the ones that are a problem to you, and you sieve out the ones that you know might likely be falsehood. Okay, let's say now they say, oh, this girl, she had a child in the house and she doesn't have a child. You ask the girl now, do you have a child in the house? They say, oh, no, I don't have a child. You believe the one you want to believe, or you ask for further proof, right? So these are the kind of things. That's how you know who is saying the truth and who is not saying the truth. How do you cope with family who are pressurizing you? Like I said before, as long as the pressure is coming from a good place, it's not a bad thing. So sometimes you need to indulge them, or you use style and cut them away. I think it was when I turned 33 that I had the first factual talk with the people who put a kind of pressure in my life. I think first of all, the first person was my mom and my dad. My dad is very enlightened. He's not even big on all that, but I know definitely he wants to for me to get married. So he'll gather his friends, show them his house, do that and all that. Yeah, it's fine. But I think I had that honest talk with them at 33. I told them, look, I want to have a child. There's a possibility that I may not find what I'm looking for in a man, and I'm okay with it. But I need you people to be okay with it. I need you to understand that this may likely not happen for me, and make peace with it. Because I do not want a situation where I have a child and my child is struggling to fit into this family. But if people say it's not okay with you, I will leave you people and do it behind you, you will not know. But it's better you accept it. I know after that, my mommy doubled her prayer. She started praying very well. She's still praying up to today. But at the back of their mind, I have made it clear to them that this may likely never happen with me. So whether they want to continue praying, I know they are still praying. You know, my mother is still, I know I'm not in their house, but I know that when they are praying their morning prayer, they might be adding me. Or when two of them are praying, maybe they add me, my brothers will hiss and go. But I know in their room, in their secret place, they are still hoping that their first daughter will get married. But I've also taken out the time to sit them down. I have very, very understanding parents. I don't know what it's like in your home situation. But I've also taken out the time to explain to them that this may likely not happen to me. Another person that feels that urgency to make sure I get married is my spiritual mother. I remember the time she wake me up 4 o'clock in the morning and say, Amanda, hey Chineke, Biko, na Chime, don't do it to me, oh. Biko, just give me small time. Let me continue talking to God, oh. Biko, I promise you. She kept doing it. I felt at some point she was pressured by it. That you're thinking they are pressurizing you, but at the same time, they are also feeling some kind of pressure on themselves to get you married. So when she kept doing it, waking me up 4 o'clock, saying, okay, don't do this thing, because at a point, I was going to have that child. I didn't care. I was ready. I had made down payments for my IVF process. But they kept begging. My parents will beg. My spiritual mother will beg. They will beg. And I said, okay, because of these people, let me give you 1 year. But Kangoku na Agafekwana 35, everything you are saying, you are talking to yourself. So if you are praying for any man to come, make sure that man comes before my 35th birthday. And the time I gave all of them have passed. So they have now calmed down, knowing that the time I gave them have passed. So if there's anything them and their God wanted to do, it have passed. But I didn't do it in an insultive way. I didn't do it from a mean place, because I know that they love me and it's coming from a good place. But I also took out the time to explain these things to them. Your generation and our own is no longer the same. The ease of finding a good man at your own time is not the ease of finding a good man now. It's complicated. Look at the factors, look at the parameters, look at the hurdles we need to cross, look at the circumstances. So I need you to also be okay, because I don't want to have a child. Tomorrow I'm traveling, I need to leave my child with you, and you start telling my child you are this, you are this, you are that. I need you to understand that it is more important for me to have a child than to get married. So please, accept this the way it is. If you keep talking about this, I will cut you off. And they made peace with it. So when your family is pressuring you, please do not take it out on them. You need to learn this and also help them make sense of it. They are not the same. The way you sit is not the way they sit. So it is up to you to make peace with them about it and help them accept the reality as it is. So as your family is pressuring you, also take out the time to explain to your family the realities of our time. It's no longer uhuru. It's no longer as easy as it used to be before. So how would people in their right sense insult people over what thing they will have? Of course, they are not in their right sense who have. I suffer from low self-esteem, especially I'm hard on myself with how I look, and how do I overcome it? People that are finer than you, have they married all of them? That is you. It's okay. Improve on your looks, of course, for your own good. Improve on your looks, right? It makes your chances better. But do not beat yourself up. Like I said before, if there is somebody that God has said will marry you, even if you like, be looking like ayagayagayagao. I don't know if you know what is ayagayagayagao. Their hair, original sponge, ugly, short. Haven't you seen girls that are like 2 feet, small thing like this? But if you see the man she's marrying, tall, 7 feet. Somebody found them. It's not as if they're anything. You see a woman like this, very ugly. Like, somebody that they carry their face like that, put inside ugliness bar, bring her out. Njo, skin, mbe. Nothing, no education. Somebody will come from abroad and come and marry her. Take her abroad. She will be in abroad like this. But somebody loves her like that. So, no matter what you look like, if there is somebody for you, the person will definitely come. So that is not an issue. Don't let low self-esteem get to you. Happier people attract better partners. I said that. So try to improve on the way you look. But your look, if you like, be short, be anyhow you like. Look, people marry people without legs and hands. What of you? Haven't you seen women that are crippled but they get married? So what of you? So don't let anything get to you. There's something. If God says there's somebody for you, there's somebody for you. You've seen the most beautiful of women, stars, queens, and they are still not married. So what of you? So it doesn't matter. So don't ever look at that. How do you handle post-traumatic experience, being that my mom was driven out of her marriage and this affected my mindset. I'm also scared of getting married. It's not easy, but you also have to make a deliberate choice not to end up the way your mother ended up. First of all, make sure you pick the right person. But let me tell you something. I think maybe I'll talk about this when I'm talking about spiritual powers. There's something called foundational power that can drive you to marry the wrong person. Some people that ended up marrying the wrong person is a power, a force that drove them. That force that knows that this person has a wrong foundation they are dealing with will come and carry you and your wrong foundation. Demons network. They will carry you to that wrong foundation and deal with you. So make sure, like we said at the beginning of this thing, conquer all the factors that might lead to this singleness at this particular time. If you have conquered them, then you can try. You are not your mother. Your mother's traumas are not your own traumas. This is 2023. You are capable of making the right decision. At this age, nobody should be pushing you in and out of marriage. If they say they don't want to be in the marriage again, it's fine. Everybody can peacefully leave the marriage. There doesn't have to be any pushing around. So you're not your mother, so do not inherit your mother's trauma. So make peace with the fact that, tell yourself every morning you wake up, I'm not my mother. If my mother was crawling, I'm going to run. If I'm running, my children will fly. So you're not your mother and you're not your mother's trauma. So do not let her trauma affect your life. That's all I can say. A cousin told me how she was depressed on not getting married. What advice can I give her? Maybe you would need to show her this video. Remember, this video is coming from a single girl who is also not married, so she might actually find out that there is more to life than being married. There's so much to be done. You have not even seen all the countries in the world. You have not seen the lifestyle. It's only in Nigeria that we're obsessed with getting married. Abroad, people are so happy to be single, doing things, traveling, seeing the world. Like I said, the worst thing that can happen to you is not to have money. But if you have money, your problem should be reduced to a great distance. So her depression is because she's counting her losses instead of her joy. She's alive. There are people who got married that have been buried. There are people who got married that are suffering in the marriage. They cannot even find food to eat. They are going through one stress or the other. So it is also a question of counting your losses instead of counting your blessing. Instead of dwelling in the fact that you are not married, why not thank God that you are alive? Not be who die alive they marry. I dare not your mates who died single. So count your blessings too. There are your mates who are married and they still died before they even got to your age. Focus on all the good things in life. Focus on happiness. See the world. Make money. Buy whatever you want. You want a child, go to the clinic and have an IVF. You want to even buy the husband the way they advise me. Go and buy the husband if it will make you happy, if you can afford it. But if you want that fairy love story for a man to see you, treat you the way you deserve to be treated, love you the way they used to love those girls on Bella Naija, my sister, calm down and wait for the right thing. That's all I can say. My question is, how do you handle age-related health challenges and changes like hormonal imbalance and the rest? Well, I didn't touch this aspect. Thank you, Linda, for this. I didn't touch this aspect because I actually forgot about it. Let them not lie to you. The hormonal imbalance is real. Like, that whole biological clock thing is real. That whole, as the age-related issue is real. The thing is that as you grow older, some things might actually start popping up, fibroid, especially for women. For men, it could be prostate cancer and prostate at some point in their life. But for women, we have to deal with fibroid because your tummy is not occupied till thy kingdom come. You might have to deal with ovarian cyst. You might have to deal with hormonal imbalance. Your hormone is up there. Your period is now doing back. It's just a lot of, but there are a lot of women that everything works like a clock till they get to 50. So I think that hormonal and natural issues that come with being a woman and getting older is the reason why I tell women before 38, 37, 40, try and have the children you want to have and stop waiting for a man. Because after 40 is another war altogether. Oh. It is another war. There are people that it will be easy for, even at 50 something, one touch like this, belly everywhere. one IVF like this, belle everywhere. But there are people that it will be difficult to. If you have missed it at that young age, you might miss it forever. So the hormonal issues are real. Yeah, it is actually very real. If your period is to run 10 days, you will notice that as you're entering 35, 36, 37, the 10 days will now reduce to 6 days. The 6 days will reduce to 4 days. The heavy flow that you cannot even stand up without feeling like there is one ocean burst under you now reduces. So these are real. Of course, your eggs are reducing. Imagine eggs that should have been fertilized for the last 10 years or 5 years now. Of course, they are waning. Let's be realistic with ourselves. Do not lie to you. That is why they advise you to freeze your egg or to have your children as early as you can, after 37, before you turn 37. So these things are real. Yes, it might not happen to everybody, but they are very, very real. Don't deceive yourself. After 35, fertility actually starts reducing. So that's why I always tell people, it's okay to be single and not with a child to 35, but from 35, as I see me, I don't need to deceive myself. Having a child, in fact, all the goals and all the priorities I have for my 35 to my 45 year is raising my family. That's all I want. I'm not trying to make any new money that I've not made before. Money is flowing and money will continue to flow. But the priority for me now is finding the right person to father my children, have my children and rest. No matter what it is, that is what I want to do now. So the age issue is real. I do not want to be that woman who is going from hospital to hospital, praying, shouting every day. I don't want to do it. So the earlier I can have is better. If the husband want, let him come. If the husband want, let him not come. It's not my business, but I must have the children I want to do. So the age thing is real. Do not deceive yourself. But unfortunately, menopause even starts earlier in some women now. So look at in fact, at the end of the day, look at your body. Your body should tell you the truth. Nobody outside your body will tell you how this thing is. Your body is what will tell you the truth. You look at your body, you look at your menstruation, you look at the hormonal imbalance. Make sure you are always going for checkup every year. Make sure you are going to check your HCG, check your LCG, check all these things. Make sure you are always checking. Please, one thing you must never run out of at any age is multivitamins for women. Keep popping it, keep popping it, keep popping it. The fibroid is real. If you need to take it out, go and take it out. Please do what you have to do as early as you can do it. It's also fine, but you do not need to have a husband to do it. So look at it. Sometimes if there's nothing you can do, you do your best. Your best is not working. Accept it as one of those things. Another lifetime. You try. It doesn't mean anything. The most important thing is be happy. Make peace with the circumstances. Make peace with whatever it is and be happy. That's all I can say. Okay. Thank you, Henry. Thank you. My other question will come on your next videos that are related to it. Thank you so much. When having problems in marriage, most people will tell you to speak up, but I've come to realize that when you speak up, no solution from them. Instead, they tend to compound the problem for you, especially if one is not financially independent. True. The hormonal balance is real though. My friend is suffering from it and is considering having a child earlier. It is real. It is real. Luckily for me, it's not something I have to suffer for, because if it has happened to me since, I for rush. I don't mind. People insult me. Hey, child, a child for a married man. I go born for the married man. Nobody will flog me. I'll be looking at the child. I'll be happy. Nobody will flog me. Even the man said, if I like, I'll block him afterwards. But that's not something I'm dealing with. But there are people that are dealing with it. Their period will now be doing like Nitel Network. Today it is here. Tomorrow it is not there. Today is here. Tomorrow is not there. These are all the realities of life. It's age. So that's why, even if, let me tell you, the greatest truth you can ever tell yourself is not the one I'm talking about here. I can say whatever I like, but the greatest truth you ever tell yourself at the end of the day is look at yourself in the mirror and tell yourself the honest truth about your situation. Am I having hormonal balance? Am I having fibroid? People do not come out to say things like this. Am I dealing with fibroids? Am I dealing with ovarian cysts? Am I dealing with PCOS? People do not come out to say. Some women know they are dealing with this issue. They still carry themselves and go and marry somebody's son, hoping for a miracle. Then keep somebody's son praying for years, knowing fully well that what you are doing is it's for better, for worse. It's not fair. But Tell yourself the truth. Look at yourself in the mirror and tell yourself the truth. Even in men, as you are growing older, don't be deceived. They tell you a man is a man. A man is a man, is a man, is a man. But at the same time, as you are growing older, the quality of your sperm also decreases. That Ned had 2 children does not mean that the quality of his sperm does not decrease. But it happened. So everybody, as you grow older, everybody has what they are doing with. But if God says something will happen to you, no matter the age, it will still happen. That's why we see women who got married at 50, had their first child at 51. We see women who got married at 45, had their first child at 46. So it depends. Everybody, you are looking at your circumstances, you are looking at yourself. Go into your bedroom where there is nobody and talk to yourself. That is the most honest thing you will ever hear. Nobody will deceive you. That truth you tell yourself be true. Look at your situation and tell yourself, what do I need to do, and do what you have to do. That is why you see me. It will be very difficult. That's why I listen to some people that Amanda condones bad things. That's how it will sound to you. This Amanda condones bad things. This Amanda did not insult Davido. This Amanda did not insult Maria. This Amanda did not insult Judy. I'm not like that. Life has taught me too much. I do not find the energy to criticize people, because people go into their houses and tell themselves the truth. No matter how you see it, it is their reality. Let them be. There is no decision taken anywhere in the world that will be 100% pleasing to everybody. If you like now, let's make the person you want president. There are some decisions they will take that will not be pleasing to even you that voted them, and so many other people. But to some people, they made the best decision. There is no decision taken that will be 100% positive to everybody. Even you that married one man, there is still somebody in your village that is saying, "Diala, come on, happen there." These nonsense people. It is what it is. It is life. There is nothing that will be done that will be pleasing to anybody. So go into your room and tell yourself the truth about your life and your reality, and do what you have to do. That's all I have to say. If you're dealing with hormonal changes, I think you need to be treated and corrected and maintained. Hormonal imbalance is crazy, but you need to treat it. If you need to put yourself on drugs to control it, you can also do it. It happens to everybody. Don't think it's not you. There was a time I thought maybe I was having hormonal imbalance. I think me that if my period is coming on the 10th of every month, it comes like a clock, 10th on every month. One time I waited, it didn't come it missed by I think 4 or 5 days. Hey, if you see my panic, I called my mom. I told my mom, hey, I'm entering menopause, so I did not see my period. My mother was laughing. My mother was saying, me that is your mother, I'm still seeing my period. It's you that is entering menopause. I said, Mom, it's not the same thing. Hey, it is menopause, so my period was just late by 10 days. I didn't know it was a whole cycle change. I cried there. I called my boyfriend. I was crying. They were laughing at me. I said, it is menopause, so that this thing has never happened in my life before. I was looking for period. 10 days late. Hey! I said I did not do anything. If not, I would have said maybe I'm pregnant. What is wrong with me? I'm finished. I started menopause. My mother would laugh. My mother say, but you are alive. You are an adult when your grandmother stopped seeing her period. Me, I'm still seeing my period at 55, almost 55. So it cannot be possible that you have entered menopause. I say, Mommy, no. That I read this somewhere that they say people used to enter menopause from 33. I'll be 34. Okay, this happened in January, so I was 34. My mother was laughing at me. The day that period came, you see my happiness, it was doing me as if it was car that they bought for me. I was just happy to see the period. I was just so happy to see it. So it's normal. Anybody that tells you they don't go through things like this is lying to you. So the panic is always there, but I'm telling you, what God says will happen will happen. And as you get older, you enter your 30s, it's imperative that you make constant checkup your thing. I have like my gyno's number on a dial. If I just see anything that does not look like the right thing, I'll just call him. Check this thing for me. Should I come in? There was a time I was talking to my gyno almost every day. My boyfriend thought I was having an affair with the man, because every meet I'll call him. That thing, they say if you do this thing will happen. If you do this thing will happen. I have my gyno on a speed dial because I know that I'm no longer at that age where one touch, everything will enter. Now you have to plan pregnancy. You just say, wake up, you say, okay, you buy Flow. Red day, 2 to 7. You must do 2 to 7. Not that one that if you don't do 2 to 7, you do 3 to 3, anything will enter. So you must make that deliberate choice to be very intentional about your female health after 30. You must make a deliberate choice to handle your female health. In fact, you don't even have to wait till 30. It's something you need to do all the time. That's why it scares me when I see young girls popping Posno 2 as contraceptive. I see people take all sort of things, they drink, they smoke, and be like, are these people not scared? Are these people not scared? So you must make deliberate effort to make sure your body is right. All the multivitamins, take deliberate folic acid, take juice, take vitamin C. Make sure your body is on point. So that's it. Any other question? Do you think everybody from a polygamous family should relate well, being that their mother had been wicked to us and sending her kids to come and gather information about you to use them against you? They said I have bad character by staying on my own. Am I being paranoid? The ugliest truth I'll ever tell is that the problem of polygamy is women. I have seen really peaceful polygamous families, and the reason why those polygamous families are peaceful is because the wives decided they were not going to do any fight. We are here, so we're going to be sisters and we're going to raise our children. I went into this particular family for a client, and I was surprised. The children of the second wife and the second wife, I didn't even know the person I saw, that I was like, okay, maybe it's their auntie, because all of them, they were calling the first wife Big Mommy. So Big Mommy's husband is my client. So I went into the house one day. The man said, I want Amanda. I want everybody to meet Amanda. Amanda is handling my PR. They were running for election. So they said, Amanda is handling my PR. So I needed her to know everybody, give you guys pep talk about what is expected from us. All the children came in. Everybody will come in. Big Mommy, good morning. Big Mommy, good morning. She saw one. She said, why are you wearing that thing? Come on, go and move that thing. Didn't they tell you that Amanda was coming? They said, oh, sorry, Big Mommy. Then the woman I thought was their auntie came in and said, Big Mommy, she said, come on, go and remove that thing and come down. She said, okay, thank ma. So when the man was saying, okay, Amanda, I want to introduce you to my family. This is my first wife. I said, okay. I now pointed to the one that Big Mommy was saying, come on, go and change that saree you're wearing. He said, this is my second wife. In my mind, I was like, huh? Never in Igbo places that Big Mommy will talk to small mommy like that. Everyone will scatter immediately. So I think that the problem of polygamy is women. Women do not want to share anything with each other. So that's where it comes in. But if you see a family that have accepted that they are together, I've seen really peaceful polygamous family. You do not even know who is who. You do not know who gave birth to who. They are all living peacefully. Everybody is living peaceful. So it's a deliberate choice to maintain peace or not to maintain peace. So the situation, if there's already friction and this family thinks this family is evil, this family is this and that, it's nothing that can be helped unless one person decides to be the peace broker in the family. But if there is issues like that, what I do not actually like about polygamy is living in the same house. Everybody will not be Big Mommy and small mommy in the same house. So I don't actually think you guys need to live in the same house. So everybody should have their own house and still try to have their own money. But it's your reality. I can't really talk more about that. I don't have any experience about that. Okay, thank you. My single friend already removed fibroid at 28. It's scaring me because my stomach is big. I don't want to check for fear of what I will see. You need to check. There's really nothing you will see. It's not 28 that is making fibroid come out. Some people have fibroid as young as 18. They start developing fibroid. Fibroid is an African woman problem. The likelihood of a black woman having fibroid is 7 to 10. the constants are always there. So the earlier you know you have them, the better for you. So while you are scared, it's important that you go and get the abdominal scan to know where you're standing. Some fibroids are not dangerous. If it's not on the muzzle, it's not inside the womb or in certain places, you can have children as much as you want with fibroid. It doesn't stop anything. But if it's a hindrance, or it could be a possible hindrance, the earlier you remove them or get rid of them, there are now technologies that help you get rid of them, the better for you. Okay, wow, so thank you guys. I think that would be all. Let me check the other page and see if there are any other questions. I think that's all for this side. Okay. This one say, my sister, what is she saying? Because I can't waste my data. Okay, so thank you guys for today. 2:20, this is almost 2 hours. So thank you guys for today. Thank you for joining. I'll tell you what the next topic is, or if there's anything you want us to talk about, we can still visit that, or we can expand more on topics that have been talked about already. Have a beautiful week, and God bless you. Bye.